The cat-cow poses are two of the most commonly found poses in yoga. They create a dynamic movement. And Richard is here with us today to demonstrate the cat-cows. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I'm glad that you're here. To practice our cat-cows, we want to first get into what's known as table pose, and that's on hands and knees. And Richard, if you can come into table pose, and I always usually put a blanket underneath the knees for added comfort, making sure that that feels good for you. And then if you find when you put your feet down that you need extra support for your ankles or the tops of the feet, you can take another blanket, roll in one of the edges, and then place that underneath the ankles. Good. And then checking here again that the legs and the feet are comfortable. Some people might choose to put the toes underneath, so curling the toes under. Others might choose to have the tops of the feet to the floor. So doing what feels best for you. And working with our foundation, building from our foundation up. Our foundation is everything that's touching the floor. So checking that the wrists are underneath the shoulders. Good. The knees are underneath the hips. And then I typically work with the legs parallel so that the knees are in line with the ankles. Good. And then going back to the hands. Now our hands, just like our feet, we have four corners of the hands, of the palms. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, these four corners. And Richard here is gluing those four corners of his hands, of his palms, down to the floor. And then we want to suction cup with the center of the palm from the floor. So we're suction cupping the center of the palms, pulling them up, starting to firm the muscles of the arms, engaging the muscles of the arms. Now, if you find that as you're building into the shape, there's too much compression on the wrists, you can always walk the wrist forward about 1/2 inch forward of the shoulders. But otherwise, you're going to default to your wrist being underneath the shoulders. And then checking in with the eyes of the elbows. We want the eyes of the elbows in line with the thumbs, right? Good. And then they can also, if needed, they can be facing towards the pointer finger. But we want to prevent hyperextension. So if you're overlocking at the joint, and Richard, if it's okay for you, if you can show what that looks like with your left elbow, this can really stress the elbow. So firming up again the muscles of the arms. Good. The bones remain stacked. The spine relatively parallel to the floor. The neck is doing a good job here holding the head. And then we take a breath here just to feel table. This is our baseline, right, for cat-cows. Good. Now for cow, it's an inhale. With your next inhale, Richard, you'll tilt the pelvis forward, the tailbone goes back, belly relaxes down, and naturally the chest and head move forward. As you exhale, tilt the pelvis down, back, right? We hollow out the belly, the spine moves up towards the ceiling, the head relaxes down. The next inhale, the pelvis drops in, tailbone back, belly relaxes down, chest forward, head up. As you exhale, the tailbone drops down to the floor, pelvis tilts back, hollow out the belly, round the spine, relax the head. And go ahead and do 2 to 3 more of those. And we want to practice here with our breath. So the inhale is what we know as cow. This is cow. And the exhale is cat. And notice here how the whole spine is involved when you're working from the pelvis, moving from the tailbone, from the pelvis area. So that movement that he's creating in his hips goes through naturally through the whole spine. And you're only moving within the edges of your cat-cow that feel comfortable for you. So we don't want to add pain or cause discomfort. We want to be able to move here with ease. And we want to be able to breathe comfortably. And when you're ready with your breath, Richard, return to table. Good. Checking in with your shape. The muscles are firmed along the arms. The breath is steady, letting the spine here be in neutral, relatively parallel to the floor. One more breath. Good. If you have any questions on cat-cows, let me know in the comments below.